Welcome back to my channel, Statistics for Applied Linguistics. I'm Dr. Marnie Menegra, and in this video today, we are going to look at how to report an ANOVA. So this would be in the results section. We're going to look at how to do the write-up of an ANOVA. And in previous videos, we looked at how to choose a particular ANOVA, which ANOVA to choose, along with how to do each of these ANOVAs in JASP. Let's look at the write-up along with the needed formula. So when we go back to the empirical cycle of research, we've got our observation, induction, deduction, testing, and evaluation. Again, if we remember, observation is the creation of an idea and the research hypothesis based on information or patterns. This is our background information when we're gathering background information in order to form our hypothesis. Our induction is the creation of the hypothesis. This tends to come at the end of the background information section. Our deductions is transforming our hypothesis into a prediction. So we've got our hypothesis. Now we need to figure out how to test it. That's going to be in our method section. The actual testing, if it is confirmed, it is provisionally supported. If it is not confirmed, it is rejected and then adjusted. So when we're doing the write-up, we're doing this in the testing section. Because in the evaluation section, that's our discussion, this is when the results are interpreted in terms of the hypothesis. So do remember, we do not interpret the results in the results section. We merely just report all of the data or the results of the tests. When we want to interpret the data, that's going to be in the discussion section, which we will look at in a different video. So when we write our results section, remember to organize your results. Use subheadings to group the results into sections to make it easier for the reader to follow. Then also keep in mind you need to state the findings without a bias or interpretation. Again, the interpretation goes in the discussion section. Now this is where you can really use tables and figures to explain the results if needed. And each of the inferential statistics tests has a specific way that they need to be written up. So each test has a particular formula for the write-up. We will look at the ANOVA formula again in this video. And you can use contingency tables in your results section, but only if the information is not a replica of what is in the text. So all of the raw data and contingency tables should go in the appendices. That is, if the contingency tables are already written into the text or in a paragraph. Now also remember that negative results should be included. You do not want to cherry pick your data and only show what you feel is going to support your hypotheses. If there are negative results, which sometimes happens, we do have to report those and then give a plausible explanation for why that might have happened in the discussion section. Okay, so for the results section, I've shown this in another video as well, but when we're going to organize, we're going to have an introduction paragraph. And the introduction paragraph should set us up for the following subsections. So this section starts with an introduction paragraph that says that the chapter is going to present the results of the statistical tests. But in the next sentence, she points that the information from section A is coming first, followed by sections B and C respectively. And we can see that here, that we can see the heading and the subheading to follow. So how do we write up the ANOVA then? Now, if we look back at JASP, we can see that the ANOVA is, when we get the contingency tables here, we're going to get the degrees of freedom with the cases. And this is going to be first, the between groups is number 2, and the within groups is number 57 here. And then we will also need the F statistic, followed by the p-value, and then we've got eta squared, which is our effect size. Now, only looking at the formula on the left-hand side, we have F in brackets, the degrees of freedom for between groups, comma, degrees of freedom for within groups, equals the F statistic. Then we have a comma, the p, and then we have the p-value following. So it will either be equal to or less than if it's less than 0.001. So how does that look? We've got F followed by the 2, followed by the 57 equals 5.17. and P equals 0.009. On the next page, I will show how to write up the post hoc test along with reporting the effect size, so eta squared. So this is how you would do the write-up. So for this particular data, I used the one-way ANOVA where we were comparing the performance of students in 3 different language levels on a standardized test. So a one-way ANOVA was performed to compare how students at 3 different language levels in English performed on the standardized test. A one-way ANOVA revealed that there was a statistically significant difference in the mean exam score between at least 2 groups. F bracket 2, 57, close bracket equals 5.17, P equals 0.009 with a high effect size. So here we can just say the high effect size. If you want to put eta squared in brackets as well, you can put eta squared equals and put the number in here if you like, but you don't need to report that right here. Then we're going to look at the Tukey test. So the Tukey HSD test for multiple comparisons found that the mean value of the exam score was significantly different between the A1.1 group and the A2.1 group. P equals 0.006 at a 95%, CI stands for confidence interval, equals negative 44.233, negative 6.367. So let's go back to the last page. So here we can say A1.1 to A2.1. We have the lower negative 44.233 to the negative 6.367. These are the 95% confidence intervals. Because it does not cross 0, we know that this is significant. But then we're also going to use the p-value, the P2 here, which is 0.006. So for the other 2 levels, we can see these are not significant because they do cross 0, and the p-values are above 0.05. So we only need to report the confidence intervals when it is significant. So if we go back to the next page, we can see that we reported only the one that was significant here, but then in the next line, there was no statistically significant difference in mean exam scores between the A1.1 group and the A1.2 group, P equals 0.243, nor between the A1.2 group and the A2.1 group, P equals 2.59. So that's how you would write up the ANOVA. To see this in a thesis here, you can see the whole paragraph, but you can see that in the paragraph, we have the formula right here. In this case, she did not use the confidence intervals or the effect size. I do recommend using the confidence intervals and the effect size. Also, there should be spaces around each of these equal signs. Otherwise, she did a good job here. Now, remember, do not interpret your results in the results section. You only present an objective picture of the results in the data, and the interpretation of the results belongs in the discussion section to follow. This brings us to the end of how to report an ANOVA in a thesis or research article. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.